all in my bag. You been all in my business. You be all in.
Hey guys, I'm Sai and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation, and this is the home of our wrestling show, Keepin It Real. Today's show is live on Facebook, YouTube and Twitter, Ace Podcast Nation. Also your home to many other great shows and series featuring top guests, expert analysts and more. So follow us on social media, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course you can get the audio versions of this series and all our other series at the usual podcast platforms. Tonight we're doing a special live edition of this show because we normally pre-record it, but we'll predominantly be focusing on the Royal Rumble, which takes place in just a couple of hours, but I'm sure we'll touch on some other wrestling bits here and there. But let us know in the live chat and the comments who you think will come out on top tonight, any big surprises you'd like to see, and also, are you as excited as you normally are when there's fans present at the Royal Rumble? But joining me as ever for our wrestling series, it is post-wrestling writer and interviewer, Mr. Andrew the Legend Thompson. Subscribe to his YouTube channel for the very best wrestling interviews, by the way. But welcome, my friend. How are you?
That intro at the start was amazing. Top notch right there, my brother. That was a hell of a job that you did. You should be proud of that. That was great.
Just because I do so many podcasts that I can almost memorize it now, my friend. But I like to give my co-hosts a bit of love in the introduction. But so Andrew, we're live for the first time, and we're talking Royal Rumble in a couple of hours. It's going to be in this house, as it were. No fans. Has that affected your excitement for it?
No, not really. Not the Royal Rumble. I'm always like super excited for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. It's always good to know that there's always going to be at least a couple surprises on the show, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be just in the Royal Rumble match. It could be title changes we might not expect. It could be angles to build to the next pay-per-view event, that we might not expect. So I'm always in for the Royal Rumble, and it's always one of those pay-per-views that it's kind of impossible for the Rumble to be the entire pay-per-view to be a letdown, I should say. But it seems like it's always something positive coming out of the Royal Rumble to look forward to.
Yeah, I think it's generally the Royal Rumble pay-per-view is one of the ones where it's good. It is good, but there's been one or two over the years which didn't turn out so well. It'll be interesting because obviously we're going to have the piped-in crowd noises, so that'll be interesting how that feels and goes. I am excited about it still, though. Unfortunately, we had some bad news yesterday or today. I forget because of the time difference, but Mia Yim, obviously a Raw superstar, was confirmed that she has COVID, so she will not be on the pay-per-view. But also this affects the men's Rumble in quite a big way because her boyfriend, partner, whatever you want to say, is Keith Lee. I've no idea if they live together, but they're a couple. So I'm not expecting to see Keith Lee on the show. And he, for me, was, when you're looking at outsiders who might pick up the Rumble, he was one which I thought might be in with a shout at least. So that sucks for him that he's potentially off the show.
Yeah, Keith Lee, I don't think anybody would have been mad if Keith Lee would have won the Royal Rumble.
No,
me included. That definitely would have liked that Keith Lee could have got that W. I feel like I feel like they've done a good recovery with Keith Lee. I feel like after a while it kind of got a little rough at there, like as far as like him, how they presented him. But I feel like especially coming off of that big win he had against Orton, and then like coming out of that, he was kind of like just floating around a little bit. But I feel like they kind of got it together and kind of like were treading towards him being a heel, which I think kind of fit really well. So of course it's a big blow if indeed he isn't going to be able to compete in the Royal Rumble. But yeah, hopefully Keith Lee. And hopefully this doesn't affect, whatever they may have had or, planned for him, if they had anything planned at all for Keith Lee going forward. Because I definitely think he could be one of their main players, if not their main player on Raw.
Yeah, there was talk of him. There was talk of him versus Brock Lesnar at one point. So, they've obviously think a lot of him. It'll be interesting to see how that goes now because he's seemingly off tonight. There's all sorts of rumours and expectations, as you expect. Gaz is mocking me. He just sent a super chat. He says Goldberg's going to win and then squash the Fiend at WrestleMania, and Sai will cry. Oh my God, can you imagine? That's the problem is, mate, is Gaz, I can imagine them doing it. I do think we'll get to the predictions and we're going to go through the card in a little bit, but Goldberg's going to beat Drew McIntyre tonight. So if you're one of these guys and girls who's like, oh, I'm going to get real upset if Goldberg beats Drew, look, if you look back at the pattern of Goldberg over the last couple of years, he beats the title holder, usually someone who the fans like and is like either an up and comer or someone that they want to see pushed into that main slot, i.e. the Fiend, Kevin Owens, whoever, and then he drops it at WrestleMania. That's the way they've done it for the last couple of years.
I'm about to say another way you could look at it is like he has 2 matches per year on his contract, so this is one. And what you think the next one is going to be WrestleMania, and he's probably going to drop the title. But I honestly think I know we're probably going to get into it later. It's probably spoiling my prediction, but I do think he's going to end up beating Drew, and then he's going to drop the title to the Fiend at WrestleMania, kind of like a revenge, thing for what happened at the Saudi show. What was that? Was that 2020?
Yeah, that was last year, wasn't it? Because
like years ago, bro.
Yes. Few people, Rob's there calling him Oldberg. Look, I don't even want to see Goldberg wrestle anymore, let alone beat Drew McIntyre. But Drew McIntyre, he's had a stellar year. He's been one of the standout performers in the WWE, doing the UK proud.
Let me ask you this: what do you think they do with Drew coming out of this?
It's a difficult one, isn't it?
They kind of have a rough time, like keeping title holders strong when they come up with these big title match losses, and like they kind of struggle a little bit. And like especially coming out of Mania season, like Drew is like one of their biggest stars. So like, do you just like let him go off into the sidelines, like, or do you kind of jump right back into it with him?
I think they've got to keep him somewhat hot. They've got to keep him somewhat prominent. For me, I wouldn't be against him versus Brock at Mania, maybe, but kind of done that a bit. And it's difficult, isn't it? Because like, who could you go with him? Against maybe him and Sheamus is an option, but I just even that doesn't feel representative of the kind of the year which he's had. Like Drew has been exceptional in these last 12 months, even longer than that. But they've kind of eased off on that a bit with Sheamus, and they haven't really done a lot with Sheamus. So I don't quite know where they'll go. Be interesting what people's take is on that and who they think, what they would like to see them do with Drew McIntyre. And I mentioned rumours, and one of the fun things with the Rumble beforehand is all the ridiculous rumours where people think unrealistic expectations of who's going to turn up. Nothing will ever beat the AJ Styles entrance. I got to say, that was one of my favourite Rumble moments ever, just with it phenomenal coming up on the screen and the music, and everyone was like, who the hell's that? It was just such a great moment, and seeing everyone like the audience lose their mind was fantastic. But so I ask you, mate, we saw a New Japan wrestler jump in AJ Styles, and he turned up at the Rumble for the first time ever. I wouldn't be doing my job as a host if I did not ask you, will we see New Japan Wrestling's Jay White on the Royal Rumble this evening?
No. I'm going to say no, and I mean, and that's just because like if you say like they have these images on social media from people that were actually in Japan, and like Jay White's being advertised for their show on March 7th. I think that's the 40th anniversary. It's their anniversary show, not 40th, but it's one of their anniversary shows. But I mean, like, but you just, maybe that could have been put up there in advance. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just never know. I mean, I would love to see Jay White. I think, like, what is Jay White, like 28, bro? Like, dude is like
he's peak. He's the ready-made wrestling star, isn't he?
He already has the WWE style. Dude is main event at Wrestle Kingdom, won the IWGP Heavyweight title, Intercontinental US. Like, the dude has literally done everything there is to do in New Japan. Like, I feel like if he stayed, he's just gonna keep being a top guy, and there's never anything wrong with that. But like, I mean, he can. He can go to WWE in 2 years and go in 4 years. Like, then he still will be fairly young. So I wouldn't be against Jay White at all. I would love to see him in WWE. And then, of course, I remember a couple months ago, Kyle O'Reilly had said in the interview, he was like, yeah, he thinks Jay White, like, so as soon as he comes to WWE, he think he'd be a top guy instantly.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't even be a question because he already wrestles the style. A lot of people say that. Presentation is there. But another guy who I'm going to give a hot take on, who I think will be in the Rumble. Remember I said this. TJ Wilson will be in the Royal Rumble tonight. Remember I said
That what a moment that would be.
I'm
To see him back in the wrestling ring, mate, would be phenomenal. Wouldn't it be a great moment to see him and Cesaro at the same, in the set, have a moment in the ring together?
That'd be great.
It would be phenomenal, and it's almost one of those moments where you're like, yeah, I wish there was fans in the arena to see that and to be part of that. It's going to be real interesting though, mate, because we've got all sorts of names, which the usual popping up on social media. The Rock did a video or something. I don't think we're going to see The Rock, are we? I don't think they're building to that Roman match just yet. I think probably next WrestleMania, that one, isn't it?
Yeah,
surely not.
Or I don't think they're gonna wait until the California one. I think they're gonna do it in Texas.
Yeah, so that's next year, isn't it? Dallas,
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah,
Dallas,
Texas.
Texas. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, Texas
My
next year.
Geography sucks. So yeah, I don't think we're going to see The Rock. Batista, where would you put him as a likely surprise? I don't think so.
I think Batista done. I think he had his moment. He good now.
Yeah, he got that off his chest, I think, didn't he? Like, I feel like he felt like he had the raw end of the stick, no pun intended, and he's now ready to go. I apologise to Jubilee in the chat because I don't speak French, so I can't. If anyone would like to translate these comments, please go ahead. But unfortunately, I can't. They could say anything. Sorry, my friend, but thank you for watching. I appreciate you as ever. Okay, CM Punk, yes or no, my friend? Would they prefer to save that with fans, though? Do you think?
Did you see that he was training in the ring with Stephen Amell for the Heels show?
Oh no, I did not see that.
You're on Twitter right now. Go to Stephen Amell's Twitter. I don't know if you could pull it up right now, but he was back in the ring with Stephen Amell for the TV show. But I mean, it could be a troll job. You never know. CM Punk might be in the ring.
Yeah.
Let's just
he knows. He knows, doesn't he?
He's a
he
troll,
knows what
bro.
he's doing.
He's a troll,
he loves
bro.
it. He loves it. CM Punk is the only wrestler who I think I would genuinely like to kind of return to the WWE and to see. But I kind of want the crowd to be there to see that reaction and to see people lose their mind. Like,
that's for fans.
Yeah. Rob Boyle, great. I don't know. Well, it's a good suggestion. I don't know whether it would be great. He says Tyson Fury. Can we see Tyson Fury? He loves the old WWE. They love him, but his last run was painful, I gotta say. And I'm a massive fan of his as well.
I feel like he could make an appearance, but not in the Rumble. I think it'll be on Raw, and that's to sell tickets to the Mania show. Yeah.
I could see that. I'll tell you when I think he might turn up. I thought I saw someone on social media, so I don't know if it was reputable or not, say that Hulk Hogan is doing some sort of promo to open the show or to.
Hey. We
I know we don't say that name on you. I apologise. I forgot. The live part got to my head, and I said his stupid name. The man who shall not be named was going to open the show with some sort of promo. I could see them putting I could see them. I'd like to see Tyson Fury go and knock him out. That'd be quite cool.
That I would be down for.
just as he's about to say his opening line, Tyson Fury just come out, give him the old 1-2, and that'd be the end of that. And we don't hear him speak. But yeah, in terms of rumoured people who could turn up, obviously the last few years there's been rumours of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. We've not got none of that stuff now because AEW's off the ground. Is there anyone else, mate, who you kind of think of who could potentially be a surprise entrant?
Not anybody that comes to immediately off the dome. I mean, I think if they
Kurt Angle, Carlito, I think will be in it.
I think if they wouldn't have announced Edge prior, I feel like a lot of people would have probably chosen him as a surprise pick to be in there, but they already announced him. But I mean, yeah, I mean, it had basically been the same thing as last year, to be honest with you. But TJ Wilson, that's my surprise. That's my big surprise for the night, as far as like somebody that's like genuinely gonna get people excited as TJ. And I know a lot of people think it's Seth Rollins as well.
I think Seth Rollins is probably in there. I think Kurt Angle might be in there. So we're going to move on to the card, and it kind of goes into something I was going to ask you about what you just mentioned. So they've announced that Edge and Randy Orton are 1 and 2. How do you feel about them announcing the 1 and 2 participants ahead of time? I feel like that's part of one of my like the things I really enjoy is when they do the, when you see who's going to be the first 2 out. So I kind of a bit disappointed that maybe we didn't get that. But what do you think of that?
With this year specifically, I ain't really think it make a difference because there's no people to react to it. So it's like I see why people like will kind of will be kind of down on it because like that's the whole thing of the Royal Rumble. You know what I'm saying? But like at the same time, like we haven't seen Edge make an entrance in over almost a year, so I think that's going to be exciting regardless. I think that'll be cool to see him reignite the thing they had with Randy Orton. Then we always had a surprise factor number 3. I feel like number 3 is going to be somebody like comedic to like kind of taking down the intensity level of Orton and Edge. So yeah, I think it's going to be cool, but like I didn't really have an issue with them announcing because I mean it's nobody there to react to it live, so
I kind of agree with that, although I do think it takes away a little. But like you say, because there's no crowd, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Welcome to all the people who've just joined. There's a load of people just joined. That's cool. For me, the men's rumble's interesting because I said to you just before we started off air, I actually think the reason that Edge and particularly Randy Orton the first choice is because I think Randy Orton's going to be eliminated by The Fiend, who will return tonight, and they'll do some sort of pre-taped weird angle, probably involving some sort of fire. They'll do like some sort of elimination, either a double elimination with The Fiend and Randy Orton going out together, or The Fiend will just drag him off or burn him, or something wild. And I think they'll do that. That'll be like a pre-taped thing for them to do whatever they do with the special effects and that, and then you'll get like the rest of the Rumble will carry on as normal, as it were. But be interesting. Who do you think is going to be the men's Royal Rumble winner? I think it's hard to pick this year.
The men's Rumble winner, I am going to say either The Fiend or... Because I think The Fiend is the logical one because of Goldberg. I think that's the natural thing that you would think of. So I'm either going to go The Fiend is going to win, or I am going to go. That's the men's one is a tough one. Like I'm dead locked on the women's Royal Rumble, but like the men's is kind of a rough one. So yeah, I'm gonna go The Fiend, or I'm gonna go Seth Rollins or The Fiend. One of those.
So I agree. I think The Fiend makes the most sense. I think, it makes the most sense. I think it would be a good way to have him return, etc., and also to rebuild his character a little bit. Obviously, because he was previously so dominant. If he doesn't win, if they do that early in elimination, which I think they might, then I think probably Daniel Bryan would make a lot of sense.
I forgot about Bryan. Yeah,
because they've kind of built his story up into the Rumble as if this is his last run. You've had people like AJ saying he's past it and he's not good. He's lost a couple of times to people, like he lost to Cesaro and a couple of other people. So I think...
As I said, I was going to ask you, isn't it crazy how Bryan hasn't won a match in like a singles match in quite some time, but he still feels like a legit main eventer, like regardless of his losses?
And I think that's tremendous credit to him, the way he's portrayed his character and himself, and also I suppose you've got to give the WWE a bit of credit for that as well. And I feel like
creative team.
yeah, well that's it. Yeah, he's the ultimate underdog character, isn't he? Though, like Like, you could see him doing like coming in relatively early, doing the old Iron Man hour, finally winning by eliminating Brock Lesnar or Braun Strowman or something like this, and winning it, and then going on to face Roman Reigns. If they bring back Seth as a baby face, it makes sense that they could do him versus Roman Reigns, obviously. But I feel if it's going to be an opponent for Roman Reigns, a SmackDown guy, Daniel Bryan makes the most sense. If it's going to be a Raw guy, then I think The Fiend makes the most sense for me. Like, obviously, you can. I think when you're looking at WWE, you can never rule out Brock Lesnar. You can never rule out maybe someone like Braun Strowman, but I don't think. Maybe if they decide to do the Brock Roman angle now, you could potentially see that. I hope they don't, though. I've got to be honest. Women's Royal Rumble, I think, is a little bit easier to navigate and to pick. I don't know whether you agree with that. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think it's the easiest one to pick from. Who do you think is going to win?
Well, I think Bianca Belair will win. I want Bianca Belair to win. My only worry is Charlotte and Asuka versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler is on the kickoff show for the tag team titles.
Mm-hmm.
And my only worry is that they will do Charlotte winning it and do that as the way to build to Charlotte Asuka, which I don't think they need to do. But, you know, WWE loves to have Charlotte be like the centerpiece of the shows, so you know you wouldn't be surprised if they was to do that. I forgot to ask you, do you think we see Ronda Rousey tonight?
No, not now.
I don't think it's the right time. I think next year maybe we might.
No, not even next year. She probably come back at Mania for the crowd when the crowd be back.
Yeah, that's true. They keep forgetting that there's going to be fans at Mania.
I know,
so
right?
Yeah.
I know, right?
It's been so long.
Yeah, but for the women's rumble, that's what you was gonna ask me.
Yeah. I was going to say I like Bianca for it. I think she makes the most sense. I would like to see it. I think the final two, her and Bayley, would make a lot of sense. What about you?
For the women's rumble, I want Bianca to win. I feel like she should win. I feel like she's the obvious choice and has a lot of momentum and a lot of fan support behind her. I feel like a lot of people would like to see her get that moment, and I think everybody has been saying for months that it should be her versus Sasha at Mania. A lot of people want that.
Sure.
But I don't think Bianca's going to get that moment. I feel like Rhea Ripley is going to win the Rumble. She's going to eliminate Charlotte to win the Rumble.
I'd be okay with that.
Charlotte is going to beat Asuka for the title at Fastlane, and they are going to run it back. Charlotte versus Rhea for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. Rhea is going to get her payback and beat Charlotte for, to avenge the loss last year. And I think that's what they're going to do. But I still think that Bianca versus Sasha is going to happen at Mania. I just think they're going to go about it a different way. And I think they're going to use the catalyst as Rhea Ripley and, her thing with Charlotte last year to go into Mania this year and do what they're originally supposed to do at Raymond James Stadium. So I think that's where they're going to go.
Everything you just said makes a lot of sense. What I will say is I believe that what they could do, final four, and I think any of these four could win the Royal Rumble on the women's side, and that would be Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte, and Rhea Ripley. I think as a final four, that's a real good final four, but I also think any one of those four could potentially be winners. They're clearly building Alexa Bliss up for something, whether it's a title run or just a dominant run. So I wouldn't be surprised to see her win the Royal Rumble. She's someone that I think has done a phenomenal job in a difficult gimmick to portray.
Another thing I was gonna add is I feel like now more than ever WWE is going to do what the hell they want because there's nobody to react to it.
Yes.
So there will be no booing unless they want it to be booing. So if they want Alexa Bliss to win the Rumble, she's going to win the damn Royal Rumble. You know what I'm saying?
But I also think that a lot of people, whilst some people don't like some of the stuff they've been doing with her changing in the matches and the pre-tapes, I think the overall consensus is she is doing a real good job at how she's portraying that character, her acting and her promos and stuff like that. She has been, she hasn't been criticised, even if the kind of some of the parts of the angle have been criticised. Not by me, by the way, because I think it's awesome, and I love that shit. But there we go. That's just me, and I understand why some people are not enjoying it. But ultimately, I think they'll be the final four. You could take your pick for who you think is going to win out of those four. Bella Twins to return, Rob Boyle says. Yeah, I think that's a real possibility, because I think it was Nikki. I apologise if it was the other one, if it was Brie. But one of them said in the last couple of days that they think they're going to return in a year to 2 years, which to me sets off alarm bells straight away, because I think, right, if you're saying like 2 years time, you're coming back on Sunday. But we'll see. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Bella Twins. I hope we don't see the Bella Twins in the final four, though, I gotta say. Do you think we see them?
I'm never against saying, Nikki and Brie. I mean, like, I feel like they didn't earn their stripes, bro. Like,
I do. But like, when you give me the choice between those two and the final four, which I just said,
no, I don't think they would be in the final four. Like, I don't think that should happen. But I mean, I'm talking about just being in the match, like,
Yeah, 100%. I'd be all about, I think that'd be a good little surprise. I think that'd be good. Cade Child says he would love to see Stacey Cabler return, but he doesn't think it'll happen.
In forever. I think she was at the Hall of Fame ceremony like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't even know if she still does even wrestling interviews and stuff like that, let alone wrestling. But you never know. She could do the one advantage I think they've got with the situation the way it is I think it's a bit easier for them to keep surprises, because there's no fans there, there's no fans in and around the building, seeing people coming in and out. So I do think it's a bit easier to manage that. So you never know who might turn up. Okay, so we're going to go right. We've done the two Rumbles. We're going to go back. So who do you want Bianca to win, but who do you think will win? Did you say Rhea Ripley? I wouldn't be disappointed if Rhea Ripley won, I got to be honest. I think Bianca, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, those three, I'd be pretty okay with any of them winning. I wouldn't even be massively upset if Bayley or someone like that won it. I would be a bit more annoyed if Charlotte was to win it, because I don't think they don't need Charlotte to win the Rumble.
She won it last year too, didn't she?
Yeah, I think so. We don't need her to win the Rumble to get to the Oscar match, and I think that's why it would annoy me. But that takes us nicely into the pre-show, which is Charlotte and Oscar versus Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler for the tag team titles. Do you think they put the titles back on Nia and Shayna to get it off them, and then?
I don't know why they put the titles on Charlotte and Oscar anyway. Sometimes I legit forget they're a tag team.
Yeah, they don't do anything together, do they? They don't do any promos together. They don't.
Charlotte's on Raw more than Oscar is. Oscar's the Raw champion. So.
Don't start me on that. I think they should put the titles back on Nia and Shayna, and I think Charlotte should get frustrated with Oscar and attack her after the match. Let that ball roll, because what is it? Fastlane, isn't it? Next, is it Fastlane?
Elimination Chamber,
yeah, and then do Charlotte versus Oscar there, and then you can decide where you want to go after that. I'd love to say that Oscar will win and get her win back, and that'll be the way they go, but we both know that's not going to happen. So who would you pick? Who do you think is going to win
for the
women's tag teams?
Yeah, Nia and Shayna.
Yeah, me too. Goldberg versus Drew McIntyre to open the main pay-per-view. Who you got?
Goldberg. Yeah. And then Goldberg loses to the Fiend at Mania, and we get the sweet revenge, and then the Fiend goes on another bad title run. Let's get it.
Yeah. The problem I've got with that is, as you know, I'm a big fan of the Fiend. I want to see the Fiend beat Goldberg, get his win back, and actually get some steam. But what I don't want, as a fan of The Fiend, I don't want to see him in the title picture again. So I almost would prefer if, as Goldberg's about to hit a spear or a brainbuster, have The Fiend's lights come on and The Fiend cost Goldberg the victory, and then Goldberg kind of come out on Raw on Monday and challenge The Fiend because he cost him his title. I'd rather see that and Drew.
You talking about a non-title match? I mean,
Yeah, and then because you don't need to do a title match, it doesn't. And then what you could do is you could blow off the Fiend versus Randy Orton at Elimination Chamber. You could start Drew with either the Royal Rumble winner or Brock or whoever they're going to go with for the title at Mania, and you could do Goldberg versus the Fiend in a non-title match. Still a big match, makes sense. You can also have the Fiend get his win back and stuff like that. I wish they would do that, but I agree with you. I think Goldberg will probably beat Drew McIntyre, but hopefully, fingers crossed, the Fiend steps in and stops us from having the pain of Goldberg winning the title in 2021. Next up, Sasha Banks versus Carmella. I would be
Sasha taking this one. It ain't no way.
Yeah, I'd be very upset. Very upset if they was to take that title off Sasha Banks, because I want to see Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Big time. Want that match.
Don't even need to say more than that, brother. That's it.
Absolutely. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns taking this one.
Yeah, there's no way Kevin Owens is winning.
I mean, I wouldn't be mad if KO won, but like Reigns
Makes
is on
no
the roll.
sense.
Reigns is on the roll right now, bro. It's like no point. It's no point in doing it.
Yeah, I almost feel like this match they didn't need to do, and I was looking forward to the Adam Pearce match. You talked me into it on the show when we were talking before they changed it. Like, you talked me into Adam Pearce versus the Roman Reigns, and going to be enjoyable.
I was in for that because I wanted to see Adam Pearce wrestle.
Yeah, man.
I feel like I mean he
would have been a cool moment for him though, wouldn't it, as well?
He says that he's medically disqualified. That's what he says. You know, I mean, of course he would know better than I, but I think that was just a thing that maybe he was told to say to kind of alleviate, people being disappointed. I don't think they were expecting so many people to be so amped up about him wrestling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like people didn't know that this man was like one of the best wrestlers from the early 2000s. Like people just forgot about that. But I mean, maybe he legit is medically disqualified. Like I don't know, but so but all in all, I think a lot of people were excited to see Adam Pearce wrestle. I feel like this spot could have been Shinsuke's, but I feel like they're probably gonna do Shinsuke on the road to Mania and probably have him face Roman at the Chamber or at Fastlane or something like that. So yeah, I
kind of am disappointed that they are doing KO versus Roman Reigns again. I'm a massive KO fan. I think he's so talented. He's so good on the mic. He makes you believe in whatever feud it is. But Roman Reigns has beaten him twice already, and there's no way they're going to beat Roman Reigns now because they're building him up for this huge run versus The Rock. And I just feel like it makes it real difficult
because get KO again.
Yeah, and plus it's getting last man standing, so you've got to keep him down for 10 seconds. And like, unless they do like a weird angle where he's got something on top of him, and I don't know, it's that's an interesting little tidbit from Gaz there. He says, "Give me Jacob Fatu joining Roman Reigns' stable."
Well, Jacob Fatu is under contract to MLW until 2025, sir. So
but Andrew, being, can I ask you a serious question?
Yeah.
Are the MLW contracts worth the paper they're written on?
I don't think so.
Are they better than they were? Because a couple of years ago, they didn't mean shit.
I mean, I don't think so, but I mean, they obviously gotta be paying Jacob Fatu some good money if he's willing to sign until 2025. So
yes, but it's a big long deal, isn't it?
But you want to know who they should bring in? Cheap plug, Lance Hawaii, so I can plug my interview under the post. Yeah,
man, I like it. And you know what? Just for that, I'm going to bring up this ahead of time. Check out Andrew's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Andrew Thompson Interviews. I do wrestling shows. If you're new to this show, because at one point we just had like 100 people in here watching. If you're new to this channel or this show, me and Andrew try to get together weekly, but we do at least a couple of shows a month where we round up the wrestling news as quick as we can in like a fun, chatty way, and we just get away. But Andrew's got an incredible YouTube channel where he just interviews wrestlers from all over the place, current and past. Had some huge names on there, some top independent guys as well. I urge you all to go and subscribe, youtube.com/Andrew Thompson interviews. But back to the Rumble, mate. With the KO and Roman Reigns thing, I do feel like one way out of it is to have someone like Lance Anoa'i come in and be the one to... And do you know what? That I wouldn't be against Lance Anoa'i versus KO. Elimination Chamber or something like that. That'd be cool.
He has wrestled on WWE before. I think he wrestled Drew McIntyre. He teamed with Roman and they faced Drew McIntyre and Shane McMahon on Raw. So yeah, that was that's not gonna be the first time if that is to happen.
But that would be cool, wouldn't it? I think that'd be a real good way as well to take Roman's little group to the next level.
Bringing his real family in.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a shame really that you couldn't get Jacob Fatu as well, and just have like a...
Now see, I ain't mean to cut you up, but like if they had Fatu, like I think you could do a power clash with him and Roman, because Fatu is just legit. Roman is like, if you're talking about like just physical strength and like looking and posing, but Fatu kind of reminds you of like the Yokozunas and the Umagas.
Yeah.
He's very like resembles them character wise. Just I think that would be. If he ever were to come to WWE and they did something with Roman, I feel like they could easily do something with Roman. It's kind of like going head to head with him, like about who's the quote unquote head of the table. I think that'd be cool. But Fatu strapped in, man. So
yeah, I think as much as I would love that, and I really would love that, I'd love to see them have this kind of super stable of like Jacob Fatu and Lance Anoa'i and the Usos and Roman. I think it'd be so cool to see.
It's crazy because they're legit family. Like they're like related.
Yeah, 100%. But I think the WWE, look, they're building up Roman so they can bring The Rock in. Like I saw a graphic today, and it was like one side was Roman Reigns, and it said head of the table, and then on the other side it had The Rock, and it said built the table. And like that's the way they're going to kind of build that feud, is kind of that angle. And don't get me wrong, it's going to be amazing, but I'd love to see Jacob Fatu, Lance Anoa'i, those sort of guys brought in, and I'd like to see them in WWE anyway, because I think they're all amazingly talented. They got an incredible look as well, particularly Jacob, and I feel like it could be awesome. Is it Lance Anoa'i? What relation is he to the Usos? Brother?
No, not brother. Hey, cousins.
Cousins, that's it.
Yeah, they are cousins.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. That could be such a cool storyline. Look, like them all coming out in suited and booted and on like SmackDown. It would just look amazing.
And they all have the same tribal tattoo.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, and it's just that Rock Roman Reigns angle. If they can keep Roman as hot as he is, like him versus The Rock is going to be money at Mania next year. But
are you interested to see how the crowd reacts to Roman at Mania?
I am.
I think they're gonna cheer him, bro.
I don't know. I think he's doing a good enough job at the moment to keep being booed. One thing which does interest me with the Roman angle is Paul Heyman, because they haven't really explained why he's suddenly decided to team with Roman. He's very, with like Brock, Paul Heyman was very confident. He would strut out and he'd be like reigning, defending, etc., etc. And he was very confident. But with Roman, he's almost like cowering, and it's like Roman Reigns has got something on him, and he's being forced into doing it. And I'm kind of, even though I don't want to see Brock versus Roman again, I almost do want that feud so I can get that question answered and see those interactions, but I just don't want to see the match. It's a strange one. However, either way, I'm really looking forward to tonight's Rumble. We're going to wrap up in a minute. If anyone's got any questions they want to ask before we go, please send them in. Andrew, what did you have in your update this week, my friend?
Oh my goodness, but that feels like centuries ago. The days just go by. I can't even remember what was in the update this week with the NBC Universal CEO spoke about the WWE Peacock deal.
Yeah.
Chavo Guerrero is going to be in the Young Rock series on NBC. John Silver did an interview and he talked about like the direction of the Dark Order, after Brody Lee's passing, and like how they're kind of, transitioning into the baby faces, and like, but he thinks they were kind of like already heading in that direction when Brody.
Yeah, they were.
Here.
Yeah.
But like it kind of, his passing kind of just, pushed that, just a little bit more. AJ Styles was like, he wanted to do, he wants to be a talent scout after his wrestling career is over for WWE, and Kurt Angle's launching a podcast, man. There you go. Kurt Angle's joining the family.
The Kurt Angle Show with Conrad Thompson, isn't that?
Yep, Kurt Angle is joining the family, sir. Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting because Kurt Angle's got so many stories and things to share. So I kind of interested to see what that is like and how that does and what sort of stuff he puts out there. Adam Page and the Dark Order is interesting because particularly the Dark Order, because they were almost portraying two different characters. Like on Being the Elite, they were very babyface, like entertaining and quite funny, and then on the Wednesday on TV they'd be heels, and it was a bit disjointed. But over the weeks they've started to bleed over the kind of entertaining babyface side of it, which is good. And I think Adam Page eventually will take over the Dark Order and join the Dark Order. They're just they're building to it, my friend. Build into it.
Well, do you think you think Shaq and Cody Rhodes will happen at Revolution?
I do, yeah, and I'm not sure how I feel about it.
Want to do a quick preview of the Beach Break card before we?
Yeah, go on, let's go for it, man. You got it?
I thought you had it.
No, I haven't got it. I haven't got it up. Give me 5, 4.
I'll pull it up.
I'll have a look now. I was just reading a comment from Gaz. He's just asked us if we'd name our final four for the Rumble.
Which one?
Well, I think you mean, I don't know. Which one do you mean, Gaz? Let us know which one, and we'll tell you what we think.
So I got the Beach Break card pulled up. So we got.
He says both. So we'll do that, and we'll answer Gaz's question then to finish. But Beach Break.
We got Omega and the Good Brothers versus Moxley, Pac, and Ray Phoenix.
It's going to be an interesting one. I think Moxley's team will win, with the Young Bucks finally turning on the Good Brothers to set up their match at Revolution.
There you go.
I think they'll give them a super kick, like when the referee's down or something, and that'll be it. Like they'll come out as if they're going to help Omega and the Good Brothers. The referee will be out, and then they'll super kick them, and that'll be the beginning.
Yeah, I think Moxley's team definitely gonna get the win, and then we're gonna get Moxley versus Omega 2 at Revolution. I think that's definitely gonna happen. And then we got Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker.
That's gonna be a good one.
I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to that. They really built that real well. I was impressed.
Yeah, and they haven't done the best job with the women, as we've talked about before, and I really like the way they've built that. I'd like to see Britt Baker pick up the win, though. I've got to say, I think she's been the one character who's consistently been built well, and I think that would be a massive win for her to beat Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, I definitely think Britt Baker should get the win. I mean, Thunder Rosa is the sound anyway, so I mean, like,
yeah, of course.
I mean, but they really built her real well, so I don't feel like it'd hurt her if she loses to Britt. And then we'd be remiss not to mention the AEW Women's Eliminator Tournament starting soon. The first round match, Reaal makes her return against Serena Deeb. I think that's what
it feels like ages since she was on.
The last time she wrestled was in AEW was in like February 2020. So the last time she wrestled for AEW. So it's gonna be good to see her back. I'm unnecessarily excited about this match against Serena Deeb because I feel like they about to tear the fucking house down. So I'm like real amped about that. We got the tag team battle royal, of course, that you mentioned. The winners challenge the Young Bucks at Revolution. If the Young Bucks win, they get to pick their opponents, and
I think they're probably going to win, aren't they? Do you think?
But see, the only thing that kind of like I think your pick made sense. But see, the only thing is that 6-man tag is the main event. So I mean, so I mean, I'm pretty sure that tag team battle royal is headlining Beach Break.
Yeah, of course. So what you could do is you could have the Good Brothers kind of accidentally cost the Young Bucks like the Young Bucks could be just about to win the Rumble, the Battle Royal, and the Good Brothers do something like as if they're trying to help them, and I don't know, something like that, and that be the catalyst for the Young Bucks then super kicking them later on in the main event. Or they might just go the route of having the Young Bucks win and challenging them for the title, and they might not even do the thing in the main event which I mentioned. So there's a few ways they can do it. I tend to give the AEW the benefit of the doubt in terms of what they're going to do, because overall their booking has been consistently good. They've had a few missed hits or miss, but generally they've been pretty good. So they get the benefit of the doubt. Okay, to finish this off, because we are finishing now, as promised.
No, that wasn't even it. That wasn't even the match card.
Oh, come on, go on.
They had Lance Archer versus Eddie Kingston in a lumberjack match.
Oof. Eddie Kingston I want to win because he hasn't won for, it feels like he hasn't won for ages.
And then they had Sting and Darby Allin versus Ricky Starks and Brian Cage.
Bro, I can't even start talking about it because I don't want to watch Sting wrestle, as we've discussed on previous shows. But I'm going to go with Sting and Darby Allin to win.
There you go.
My friend, that was awesome. Yeah, I can't get into the Sting stuff again. We talked about it to death. I don't want to see it. For his safety more than anything else. And he's, like, what did we say he was? 62?
61.
62 or 61 with spinal stenosis, which nearly left him paralysed 2 years ago or whatever it was. Like, come on. We don't need to see that. Right, Gaz asked us who are our final four for the Rumbles. So to finish us off, our Royal Rumble special live preview show, Andrew Thompson, who will be the final four for you in the Women's Rumble?
Charlotte, Bianca, Rhea, and Nia Jax.
Yeah, they love a bit of Nia Jax, don't they? My final four, I said my final four for the women's was Alexa, Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. And your final four for the men's rumble?
Oof. I got Edge going the distance. Daniel Bryan, The Fiend, and Strowman.
You think that the Edge will go from 1 to 30, do you? Jeez. Yeah. I think that's asking a lot of the man, but, well, you never know. My final four for the men's rumble would be Daniel Bryan's definitely going to be in there. I think Shinsuke Nakamura could be in there. So Bryan, Nakamura, Brock, or Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman I think we'll go with. They like him in the rumbles. So you've got Braun, Shinsuke, Daniel Bryan, and
Jay White.
Jay White, yeah, we'll go with Jay White for the controversy makes cash. However, I would say if Jay White is going to debut in the WWE tonight,
he need to win.
Have him win the Rumble.
He need to win,
I don't think he is going to be there. Let me be clear. I don't think he's going to turn up. But if somehow he's turning up in that Rumble tonight, he should win it,
bro. Like, can you imagine the debut?
Yeah,
that's a debut right there.
Yeah, win the Rumble, and then for the next 6 to 8 weeks, or however long until the Elimination Chamber, you just have him tease challenging both champions week after week, and you say you have like an angle where Raw and SmackDown managers, whatever, are trying to sign him to a contract, and he's the Rumble winner, etc., etc. Right. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in. Rob Boyles, this great show. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Gaz, and everyone, Cade, who commented, and all the other people who didn't. Indeed, thank you for joining us. Subscribe, youtube.com/AcePodcastNation. Click the bell for notifications. We got a special. We have a football show every Monday, 7:30. Tomorrow's guest, ex-Premier League referee Mark Halsey. We got a Super Kevin scripted show this week. We've also got the Danny Batten Fight Show with Bellator heavyweight Linton Vassell, as well as another football show on the Friday. Me and Andrew will be back sometime later in the week to discuss the Royal Rumble. If you prefer this show live, then do let us know. I'm not saying that we'll do it live, but it's always good to know what the people prefer. But in the meantime, I thank you, Andrew, for your time, mate. I thank you for fitting me in.
No problem, Si. Always glad to do the podcast with you, my brother. Thank you for having me.
Only love. Subscribe to Andrew's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Andrew Thompson Interviews. Follow him on social media at ADThompson__. We'll be back soon. Take care, my friends, and enjoy the Royal Rumble tonight. Jay White versus The Fiend will be your WrestleMania main event.